to this meeting, to this conference. And so starting Monday, we actually had a series of activities that brought together fisher leaders here in Palau and in other countries. They came together and did a global fisher dialogue last Monday and generated a statement. And then last Tuesday, champion mayors from different countries as well came together virtually on a call. They're all part of a network called Coastal 500, which is really local government leaders that have come together to act for the protection of coastal waters. They also met last Tuesday, and today we're going to hear their voices as before we hear from our national leaders. But before we get started, I'd like to really acknowledge the partners that have helped bring this together. So the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, and Environment of Palau, and then our partners from JICA as well as the Japan International Cooperation Agency. Thank you very much. We're really happy to be partnering with this the first time, and it's been a pleasure working with you. So to kick us off, I'd like to show you a short summary of the video highlighting some of the voices that we heard from the fisher leaders.
We're here at our ocean conference, where governments are renewing their commitments to the ocean. As part of this global discussion, it's really, really important to make sure that the voices of local fishers and coastal communities are heard in the stories that are told.
I am a fisherman and also native here from the city of Pusa.
We are from Manuru Village, Southeast Sulawesi Province, Indonesia.
I am a fisherman from Santeneja in the northern coast of Belize.
From Mozambique, Mr. Lucio Machinde.
One resident San Benito, Ergao. We, fishers, leaders, proudly representing our coastal communities in the Republic of Palau, are committed to securing and preserving our reefs to be resilient in the face of climate change.
All the way out that, that is a point. I represent a generation of fishermen who has seen many changes in our fishing activities due to the overfishing and to the impacts of climate change.
Women's protagonism is very important. They see an importance of the mangrove and the importance of fishery and of fishing.
If managed to access and reserve, the community can actively participate to protect the ocean and utilize the marine resources well.
We call on policymakers, executive leaders, and law enforcers to co-develop programs to improve compliance with fishery management laws.
Really need to work together with a lot of support so that there is sustainable fishing in the community.
So that was a snapshot of the voices that we heard, and they've come together and crafted their own statement. And I would like to invite he's also a fisher. We had a little bit of trouble with our delegate passes, but Kevin Misabalu, who is our program manager for Palau, and he will read the statement on behalf of the.
Thank you, Rocky. My honor to read this message from the fishers. In fact, we have fishers here as well, so thank you so much for allowing me this honor to read this message for the public. If I may, we, the fisher leaders, who proudly represent fishers from Belize, Brazil, Federated States of Micronesia, Honduras, Southeast Sulawesi, Indonesia, Mozambique, Philippines, and Palau, recognize the importance of small-scale fisheries for food and nutrition security, livelihoods, and cultural value. Appeal to you, global leaders, at our Ocean Conference 2022 at the UN Oceans Conference and throughout this International Year of Artisanal Fishers and Aquaculture, or DIAFA. To commit yourself and your organizations to support the following ideas born of our experience and knowledge of our oceans and our people. First, visit the fishers and prioritize our needs when making decisions to address overfishing and other threats to fisheries. Second, protect the world's oceans, mangroves, estuaries, and small island ecosystems to ensure our lives and livelihoods and our unique biodiversity. Third, diversify our livelihoods beyond fishing to relieve pressure on fisheries and increase social resilience. Fourth, prioritize climate change adaptation and coastal resource and fisheries management in local, regional, and national action plans and programs. Fifth, provide a seat at the table for the women and youth to become leaders for a sustainable future. Therefore, we appeal to our national leaders and to the global leaders to give voice to fishers, women, and youth in decision-making and share responsibility for the actions needed to ensure sustainable fisheries. To expand networks of no-take areas, replenishment zones, and materials or water territories to meet ecological, biological, and social community goals. Give local fishers rights to fish in certain areas to ensure that licensed, responsible fishers benefit from the replenishment zones and sustainable management within those fishing areas. And finally, to allocate a permanent recurring investment for the full implementation of sustainable coastal resources and fisheries management programs. Sincerely yours, representatives and participants of the Global Fishers Dialogue on April 11, 2022.
It was really inspiring for us to hear that all these fishers from all over the world actually share the same concerns and maybe are calling for very similar things. Next, we have with us one of the newest members of the Coastal 500 network, who recently joined the network and signed a pledge to commit to coastal fisheries, who will read the statement of the Coastal 500 leaders on behalf of the network. It's my honor to introduce Governor Francisco Malaytay from the state of Niuean here in Palau. Sir.
Thank you and good morning. Very much anyway, taking part of this conference was yes, I'm one of the governor, state governor, and with our chairman, governor for the state. So let me read this statement. International Year of Artisanal Fisheries and Aquaculture, Highway AFA 2022. A watershed moment to appreciate the contribution of small scale fishers to local coastal communities globally. We are Coastal 500, a global network of mayors and local government leaders. We have all pledged to work toward driving coastal communities along the ecosystems. Together, to celebrate the recognition of small-scale fishers on global stage through the International Year of Artisanal Fisheries and Aquaculture. The coastal mayors, we are proud to support our small-scale fishers that are backbone of global communities. It is with great pleasure to promote 4 of the IYAFA key messages and highlights of its importance for our communities. Environmental stability. The custodian of shared resources fishers have fundamental role in ensuring responsible management and sustainable use of aquatic resources and their supporting ecosystems. Combining local efforts to protect critical biodiversity with effective co-management for coastal fisheries, we can assure food security, support the productive economy, and safeguard livelihoods. Governance, effective participation, support by comprehensive direct information in decision-making process ensures that traditional knowledge and voice of fishers, fishermen, fish farmers, and fish workers and their organizations shape laws and policies relating to small-scale artisanal fisheries and aquaculture. We recognize that collective action and leadership serve as motivating force for effective change, and that local leaders play a champion role in ensuring all voices are heard. Food security. Small-scale artisanal fisheries and aquaculture have a fundamental role in contributing healthy, safe, affordable, and nutritious aquatic food and products as part of global and local food systems. Sustainable fisheries are an integral part of our food system transformation and have potential to develop in a sustainable, natural, facilitated way that demonstrates how local communities are critical to achieve sustainable development goals. SDG 14. Resilience. Fisheries are among the world's most vulnerable to environmental predation and climate change. Policies and actions should support building resilience to these threats to the long-term continuity of the effort of the sectors. The latest IPCC report notes that small-scale fisheries are feeling the climate-driven impacts at unprecedented rates and impacting the economy as well as mental health and cultural activities. It is vital that counteracts the inequalities and support small-scale fisheries to ensure social, economic, cultural, and environmental sustainability. To see the full set of viral importance messages around economic sustainability, social sustainability, and gender, check out the IYAFA Global Action Plan. To conclude, we are honored to take this important moment to thank all of our small-scale fishers, to encourage you to listen to fisher stories, and to support and celebrate IYAFA by you. We're small in scale, big in impact. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Governor. Next, here at our oceans, the youth have been really integrated, and it's such a pleasure to see so many of you in the audience. We do have a statement. They actually came together the other day, the delegates and discussed sustainable fisheries. So they do have a statement Mr. Wilander to come forward and read the statement from the
Good morning, everyone. I will be sharing with you the output statement from the Youth Sponsor. We, the youth representatives, we proudly represent the countries of Canada, Japan, and the Republic of Palau, appeal to you, the global leaders at the Our Ocean Conference 2022, to commit yourselves to support the following ideas, born out of our experience and knowledge of our ocean and our country. First, youth involvement is limited within the fisheries sector, and we want that to change. We want to be more involved with our local fisheries management. We are the future leaders in sustainable fisheries management, and we need to learn from our leaders to ensure we develop and carry on proper management skills and expertise into the future of our fisheries. Second, we see that there is a great lack of consumer awareness in terms of sustainable fisheries and sustainable farming. We must incentivize consumers to take a stand and make a sustainable choice in order to incentivize the fishing industry to implement sustainable practices into their operations. Third, we need to develop and implement a uniform and efficient data collection method that will capture the necessary data that will inform sound legislation and fisheries policies. Therefore, we call on you global leaders to listen and raise the voices of the youth on these issues and commit to the following solutions. We, the youth, call for the establishment of programs that will encourage the youth to be more involved in fisheries management. The stigma that surrounds fisheries as an undesirable resource needs to be changed, and instead they should be encouraged and taught to pursue these opportunities. We also call to involve the fisheries industry to join the efforts towards sustainable management within the fisheries industry to produce sustainable products and raising awareness among consumers to use these sustainable products. And finally, there needs to be more involvement of community members and leaders in research and data collection in the fisheries sector. There is a disconnect between policymakers and resource users that needs to be resolved. Resource users and owners need to be well informed and involved in policy decisions in order to receive the maximum benefits as a result of any fisheries regulations that are put in place. Thank you. Sincerely, the youth representatives from the OOC.
Thank you very much, Isako. That was, I think the rest of us here are really, really happy to see from now, I'd like to turn us to the main part of our discussion today, where we're honored to have with us the ministers from 4 different countries. So we have with us first also to welcome you all and to welcome everyone, as well as to provide his response to the statements that have been heard and share some of his country's commitments. I'd like to introduce Minister Stephen Victor, Head of the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Environment, or MAFE, here in Palau. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Palau, Philippines. There are two critical things that Palau has tried to change within the international ocean dialogue. One is ensuring inclusive participation. So we made sure that the youth are integrated within conference. For those who attended the ocean conference, there's usually a youth panel that is separate from the main conference. Deliver their statement. This year, the youth are full participants in the conference. They're panelists. They're participating in the plenary. Also ensuring participation of indigenous people and also diverse business people representing the 6 thematic area as well as expansion, which is final translation. The second is really bringing artisanal fisheries, small scale fisheries to the fore of the ocean. Then the last 6 ocean conference has all been about large scale commercial fisheries. We know very important part of many nations' economies. But we as coastal communities understand the importance of small scale and coastal fisheries, our livelihood, our culture, to our local economy. It's what keeps us well every day. It's what keeps us engaged with our natural environment. Because we go fishing, we go further from our reefs. So to us, small scale fisheries is a no-brainer. Many of us we support the youth statement by Mr. Seko Yate and the need to change perception of fishing is a livelihood. Many Palawans retired with a full-time fishermen because they don't see it as a livelihood, they see it as hobby. So in this UN International Year of Artisanal Fishers and Aquaculture, it's very clear achieving 100% ocean management. And part of that 100% ocean management is ensuring that aquaculture sector in Palau grows and that can shift our fishing effort from just coastal fisheries to pelagic fisheries, which are much more renewable than fisheries. We're committed to growing our artisanal small scale polyline fishing for skipjack, providing accessible and affordable fish to our local communities, thereby contributing to their food security. So we see that artisanal fishing is what really keeps coastal communities vibrant, and we need to figure out how we can continue. We see that revenues generated from our offshore fisheries in a sustainable way can be reinvested in improving our coastal fisheries. And we needed to ensure that we will invest some of that revenue into coastal fisheries management. So thank you for your statement, Governor. Supportive.
Your leadership at this conference is very, very all right, next we have with us the permanent representative to the United Nations. Excellency Carlos Ferrer.
Excellencies, Ministers, distinguished representatives. Thank you for the opportunity to hear the perspectives from official leaders, local government leaders, and youth, and to offer reactions and insights from the leaders. The leads values the perspectives presented and agrees that resilience of small-scale fisheries, fishing communities, and coastal ecosystems relies on 1. Secure tenure rights for fisheries. 2. Participatory governance frameworks. 3. Effective fisheries management. And 4th, strong protections for ecosystems and habitats that support thriving fisheries. Like many small island developing states, the lease's governance space and its resources are central to its economic development, food security, livelihoods, and culture of the region, where more than half of its population depend directly on sectors and activities associated with the reef and its associated ecosystems. In fact, it has been estimated that the reef contributes more than $1 billion to our national economy from tourism, fisheries, and shoreline protection. It is unquestionably an essential lifeline for my country and a critical and central to our national security and to our survival. Small-scale fisheries in the reefs share common opportunities and challenges as other fisheries around the world. Fishers are both beneficiaries and stewards of the biodiverse waters of the reefs, including the Belize Barrier Reef and the broader Mesoamerican reef system. The Belize is committed to sustainable small-scale fisheries throughout the employment of a robust regulatory and management framework that is underpinned by a nationwide coast-to-coast system for the effective management of our national fisheries, locally known as managed areas access. This rights-based approach to fishing in the Belize gives fishers secure tenure access to coastal fishing areas and has proven successful as a tool to empower traditional fishers to protect their fishing areas and to encourage increased stewardship and co-management of our protected areas and fisheries regime. The Belize remains committed to participatory governance frameworks whereby fishers and fishing industry representatives have a direct role in fisheries management decisions at the local level through organized committees and at the national level through membership of our Fisheries Council, a multi-stakeholder group that advises the government on fisheries matters. The Belize's approach of innovation, partnerships, and the empowerment of resource users have been key to our success to date. Collaboration among community institutions, scientists, the fishery and tourism industry, and civil society are a point of pride for the social capital they create. We are leading the way in finding new ways to adaptively manage complicated multi-species, small-scale fisheries in a changing ocean, using new science tools specifically designed for coral reef ecosystems. We have learned to employ new approaches for data-limited fisheries in setting harvest controls on catch that will prevent and reverse overfishing. This innovative approach will also allow our fish stocks to become more resilient to other climatic threats and further secure the livelihoods of small-scale fishers. As a citizen and a member of the wider global community, we recognize the need to preserve the functional integrity of our oceans through targeted protection. Other human-caused pressures, such as overfishing, marine litter, and destruction of marine habitats, further compounded by warming oceans, are already contributing to an unprecedented loss of marine biodiversity, threatening the highly unique ecosystem they support and the billions of people that rely on it for food security. Our commitment to the sustainable management of small-scale fisheries is complemented by our efforts to steward, conserve, and restore our natural resources, notably our coastal wetlands and marine ecosystem. The Belize is committed to Target 3 of the ambitious post-2020 Global Biodiversity Framework, which aims to ensure that at least 30% of land and ocean, especially areas of importance for biodiversity and ecosystem services. The Belize has committed to protect 30% of its ocean space and doubling the existing levels of natural protection and further restoring our coastal wetlands areas by 2030. The Belize supports measures and mechanisms which will enable the operationalization and implementation of post-2020 GBF with safeguards for cities and other vulnerable communities to be able to successfully implement. The Belize recognizes the potential for positive interactions of environmental, economic, and social systems lie at the heart of nature-based solutions as these entail conserving, restoring, and better managing ecosystems. Our blue carbon mangrove and seagrass ecosystems play important roles as nature-based solutions to climate change with mitigation, adaptation, and resilience co-benefits. They are the perfect example of how the protection and restoration of nature can contribute to our shared climate efforts. A triple win for Belize by contributing to the national carbon sink, offsetting sea level rise and coastal erosion, while expanding habitat for biodiverse resources and support a more resilient tourism, fishing, and agriculture industry. Belize has successfully negotiated the single largest blue bond initiative in the world. The conservation commitments under our unique blue bond arrangement will ensure continued progress towards a healthy and biodiverse ocean, while balancing development of Belize's economy. This innovative and creative approach to national debt allows for national recovery and improved fiscal management that will lead Belize along a path that joins debt management, fiscal prudence, and the robust marine resource management and conservation. It is expected that the blue bond will result in the establishment of a marine conservation fund of $200 million, which will be available for marine conservation and management in perpetuity. Which should see Belize meeting its 30 in 30 targets while creating a positive impact on the livelihoods of resource users and creating community resilience. By recuperating and consolidating our natural places and ecosystems, we can secure productive and sustainable fisheries, grow our nature-based tourism sector, and strengthen our natural resource through climate change, a crucial issue for Belize's largely coastal population. I appreciate the opportunity to share these priorities and commitments from Belize. Thank you.
Very much, Ambassador. That was now it's my honor to introduce the Minister of the Ministry of Sea, Inland Waters and Fisheries from Mozambique, Mr. Giancarlo.
Similar to other countries, Mozambique has gained SDG as well as our plans, national plans. So, commitments of course involve this programs. So I will go through some points there in Mozambique. What we did in Mozambique to reach the targets there. Mozambique is rich in marine ecosystems and biodiversity with great potential for blue economy. Once it has a large coastal area, 2,700. However, marine resources are subject to sustainable practices, over-exploitation, and illegal fishing. This calls for bold measures that require structural interventions. To tackle those challenges, in the past 10 years, Mozambique has shown its commitment to the oceans with the creation of a Ministry of Sea, Inland Waters and Fisheries, and the revision of the legal and policy framework on sea governance. All commitments on SDG 14 were taken to the approval of strategic instruments, such as the Sea Policy and Strategy, Marine Special Plan, and is currently drafting the Blue Economy Strategy. In addition, the government updated fishing regulations on maritime and inland waters. Amongst Mozambique's voluntary commitments to accelerate SDG 14, taken in 2017, is the increase of marine protection areas, up to 10% by 2020. Although currently the net of MPAs is less than 3%, 2020. The country also joined the 30 by 30 initiative to increase MPAs through the
development of technical tools and interinstitutional mechanisms to support the ongoing expansion of MPAs, supported by the existing MSP, which identifies potential MPAs. Implementation of the project to identify key biodiversity areas to protect endangered fauna and flora that is important for the persistence of biodiversity globally and creation of a national coordination group. A red list mapping of 5 marine and 7 coastal areas. Mozambique's immense mangrove forest has faced over time a marked degradation and loss. To reverse this scenario, strategies for the restoration of this ecosystem to strengthen coastal resilience are underway. A national strategy for the conservation of mangroves was approved in 2020 to focus on conservation, management, and monitoring of the mangrove ecosystem. In 6th Our Ocean Forum, Mozambique committed to restore 5,000 hectares of mangroves by 2022 along the entire coastal line to strengthen partnership with various stakeholders. To this end, the National Mangrove Restoration Program is ongoing and now is about 75%. Mangroves are essential for small-scale fisheries that are decisive for food security of Mozambican population, of which 60% is coastal and is responsible for around 90% of total fish production. Recognizing the relevant role of small-scale fisheries in the production of food and livelihoods of coastal communities, Mozambique has included small-scale fisheries and aquaculture as strategic areas of governance in its 5-year national program, in line with the International Year of Artisanal Fisheries and Aquaculture. This approach aims to reduce the pressure on coastal fishery resources and improve the value chain and job creation, particularly for women and youth. To strengthen coastal resilience and promote nature-based solutions, implementation of community conservation areas and co-management arrangements is ongoing, as well as involvement and empowerment of community fishing association and fishing monitoring. As part of resilience actions, climate change adaptation, awareness campaigns and communication messages are delivered through mass media and community meetings. Another action to highlight this improvement of small-scale fisheries is data collection through a national census, registration, and gender inclusion. In conclusion, we see great value and regional initiatives to promote sustainable ocean use, and we wish to reaffirm our commitment to actions in order to offer our oceans an opportunity to re-emerge from devastation to restoration and to leave a better and safer environment to our future generations. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Last but not least, we have our Undersecretary for Agri-Industrialization and Fisheries from the Department of Agriculture and Secretary Cheryl Marie Natividad Caballero.
Delegates, excellencies, and leaders from government, business, academia, civil society, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. First, I would just like to give my reaction on the statements read a while ago by the representatives, and considering the diversity and of these sectors where they're coming from, I think that there should be
a holistic approach to look at things, and this is where ecosystem-based approach to fisheries management is an overarching principle where everybody will have to be part of the overall structure of management of fisheries. And in this regard, we look at ways to address this by using science-based mechanism to understand what is happening in our seas, in our territorial seas particularly. And this is where the aspect of national stock assessment program, which serves as a basis to implement harvest programs. And this evidence-based approach is one way of helping our decision makers also come up with policies that will both have long-term implications both at the local and national levels. So with this, I would like to express that, of course, the resolution is one of the few article applications, and it has one of the longest shortcuts in the world. It is known to be the center of the Center for Biodiversity. And it is on this regard that we would like to share this statement. Of course, we have heard statements on transformative ocean actions from fisher leaders, local government leaders, and the youth. Our delegation wants the bold commitments and creative action plans towards a sustainable ocean. Hearing success stories reassure us that they are trending right. This year's theme, local to global action for our ocean, teaches us that success at the national level collectively translates to global action in achieving our shared aspirations for the interconnected waters and sustainable. Our delegation would like to highlight more attention to one, small-scale fisheries, and two, on the co-management rights for coastal communities. Among the declared policies in the amended fisheries code are one, to protect the rights of fishermen, especially of the local communities, with priority to municipal fishermen in the preferential use of the municipal waters. And two, to provide support to the fisheries sector, primarily to the municipal fishermen folks, including women and youth sectors, through appropriate technology and research, adequate financial, production, construction of post-harvest facilities, marketing assistance, and other services. The protection of municipal fishermen against foreign intrusion shall extend to offshore fishing permits. Fish workers shall receive a just share for their labor in the utilization of marine fishery resources. The Philippines engages with its partners to further develop small-scale fisheries. For instance, we have an ongoing collaboration with the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization on adopting the voluntary guidelines for securing sustainable small-scale fisheries in the context of food security and poverty eradication, or SSF guidelines. It's an integrated approach to improving the food security and nutrition situation of fisher folks in selected coastal areas of the Philippines. Implementing the ecosystems-based approach to fisheries management through the fisheries management areas, a spatial delineation of Philippine waters as a means to manage fisheries resources at an appropriate scale was a challenging journey to the Philippines since 2015. Finally, in 2019, the implementing regulation known as Fisheries Administrative Order number 263, establishing the fisheries management areas for the conservation and management of fisheries in Philippine waters was approved. The subject regulation provides for the creation of management board composed of representatives from local government units, national government agencies, which includes the Department of Agriculture, Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, Department of Interior and Local Government, the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, as well as municipal and small-scale fishers, commercial fishers, aquaculture, processors, traders, market organizations, academia, indigenous people, and non-government organizations who are present here today. Through this broad-based participation, we recognize the value of an inclusive stakeholder approach to coastal resource management, including the planting mangroves and seaweeds in coastal areas. And considering that the connection of terrestrial land is also one way to improve and empower rural communities, including women and youth, which is a movement that can be built by these trailblazers and change makers that will advance our ocean, our people, our prosperity. Given that, we should capture the needs of future generations. We're confident that our sustained collective efforts will lead us to our common goal of a sustainable ocean economy. Thank you, and
Very much for the Secretary Cavalier.
The work of fishers, local government leaders, and national governments also needs the support of other governments and multilateral agencies. And today, we're lucky to be able to hear from the perspective of one of Palau's close partners, the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, and several of the projects focus on coastal ecosystems and fisheries. Please welcome today a presentation from colleagues, Dr. Fushi Watanabe, Senior Research Fellow on Blue Economy and Blue Carbon Projects, the Ocean Policy Research Institute, and of the Sasakawa Peace Foundation, together with Mr. Tadashi Kimura, JICA Expert Chief Advisor, on their project for enhancement of integrated management of coastal ecosystems for strengthening the resilience to climate change, who is currently assigned to the National Forest Research.
I have a few months. Yeah. So.
Sorry.
My name is I'm and today I spoke about the sharing of the strategy of my executive operation. Yeah. So JICA is corporate. JICA is corporate to the economy in Australia. At the moment, so like JICA currently is based on the SDG. But the challenge is how to there is a balance of economic benefit and the sustainability. So like the explanation in the world one. So blue economy mainly active and the development boundaries. So JICA expects so this application will attract the attention from our data and to make the momentum to achieve both the sustainable use and the economic benefit. So these are interventions for the SDG implemented by development agencies in China. But I see that some are successful, but the others are not. And even if they succeed, but not always continue like smart. Yeah, the challenge is so intervention, among intervention, there is hope. So, for example, today the recommendation we already shared many topics of the stakeholders. But for example, shared resource versus individual challenge. Local liability versus global economy. One, ecosystem conservation versus economic growth. Training our intervention So JICA would like to change this conflict to mutual benefit. Yes, already we shared with the recommendation. There's a several ways. For example, target arrest and the production of the system will increase by interaction between these elements. For the benefit by resource users will increase if our resource users participate in the conservation activity. Well, value of this product will increase if this product considered the environment of the resources. But decentralized enough income will be provided by food value chain for the commercial enterprise. But truth. So maybe that's the way if we can change the situation from a conflict to mutual benefit, we can achieve both benefit and the food. Yeah, but to promote this type of the difficulty is different circumstances from community to community for development agencies or individual child. So don't have a manual to all communities of the so maybe each community try by itself and may repeat same mistake as already other communities experienced. That's the problem. So to reduce such unnecessary effort at the time, JICA would like to focus on sharing. The way the we implement pilot activity and to generate practice and share and to use the practice to customize their own intervention. That's the kind of design. Yeah, this is the example of Japan, the co-management. Especially cooperative participating in the management also have a right to use the and this is the Shigaka culture. Shigaka culture also contributes to the system, but also the fisherman well, seafood value chain. So if you have the piece of the sushi, the piece of the tuna, expensive. So fishermen don't need to catch more. Yeah, so using this knowledge, JICA implemented many projects like this is the micro area and the GPDs are chicken added green snails, and to protect the resources and also the shell protect the souvenir and to make the shell and this is the project and the cultural region with the CRNF like this is the part. So if this is the part, fisherman can go and the coral reef outside offshore. So to reduce the pressure. And the small boat can enjoy the part and the boat. Yeah, so we create a kind of the fisherman group together to make a fund. Yeah, and these lessons we learned from Okinawa. We invite the counterpart. Yeah, that is a new project in Palau. So we have a pilot activity in a whole area of the fishing, the distribution system, the resource management, the tourism. That is the pilot activity in Palau. And then we start the lesson learn and share. And this is another project also start this year for the integrated. So why integrated? So this project also targeting the soil nano. That's the part of the contamination of the inquiry. And also the mangrove. So integrate the whole aspect of the system. And then JICA promote many activities and also. We would like to generate a practice and share and Yeah, so now I ask Dr. Watanabe. So you are right, and explain our function.
Good morning. I'm Atsushi Watanabe with the Osaka. Want to congratulate the mayor and the Ministerial Territorial design event. And OPRI is a non-government organization and a think tank based in Tokyo, Japan. And OPRI has been undertaking a 3-year research program on rural economies and the sustainable fisheries since 2021, and submitted 4 commitments at this Our Ocean Conference in 2022, aiming at achieving sustainable use of marine and coastal resources. The 4 commitments are shown here. The first is domestic and regional measures for the sustainability of fisheries. Second is the development of blue economy index applicable for small islands and as well as coastal development states. And third is a blue carbon conservation and restoration measure for climate, ocean, and the people. And the fourth is a blue economy promotion for Pacific Sea. So our primary sites will be Palau and Indonesia, but we will envision more sites. We will promote partnership with the government of Palau and Palau International Forum Center, JICA, and other entities. And the progress and outcomes of the project will be shared at national, regional, and international forums, such as UN Ocean Conference in June this year, and Ocean Panel, IGAT Tokyo International Conference on African Development, and other occasions. So looking forward to working with you in our action-related research programs in the Pacific Sea and Southeast Asian countries and African Ocean and United States. Thank you for your attention.
So this might be our goal. So not only fishery, but not only maritime, maybe generate on intervention. So yes, JICA, they are very appreciated to give us the chance to see that we give effort to promote this kind of goal. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. We actually helped I all together. I think we painted a vision for what it would look like if we were really more cooperating at different levels. So, finally, to close out our event for today, may I invite Minister Stephen back to share a draft statement of a synthesis of what has been shared by our ministers today, and then to give final closing remarks.
Read the draft statement. We proudly represent the government of this summit, which is Palau recognized the importance of small scale fisheries for security, livelihoods, and cultural value. We have resolved to recognize and support 2022 International Year of Artisanal Fisheries in Aquaculture. Highlight how collective action and leadership are motivating forces for change, mainstreaming the importance of small scale research in their coastal communities. Emphasize the importance of sustainable management of coastal waters as a way to address key global challenges, implement impact, such as food security from coastal fisheries, enhance climate resilience, and biodiversity. Balance the need to break down artificial barriers between protection and health. Enable urgent and robust action addressing biodiversity loss, climate change, and sustainable development by sharing and delivering national coastal biodiversity sustainable management plans, prioritizing preferential territorial rights, small-scale reserves, and local communities. Ensure access to coastal resources required for livelihoods. Encourage and support local leaders in their own as well as other nations to take initiatives that promote sustainable behaviors and balance natural resource management, use of ocean, coastal conservation, preservation. Champion a global to global approach where national government needs to have a responsibility for community health, nature-based solutions, promote healthy trends, sustainable communities, and climate resilience. And must always incorporate inclusive stakeholder approach to foster natural resource management and by empowering local communities, men, women, youth, trailblazers, and change makers. There's an ocean prosperity. Our future, given that we share, should capture this needs of future.
Thank you very much to all our participants today and all our distinguished guests. It was a very, very rich, discussion of priorities and all the shared goals that we have. And together, I agree that this is the kind of energy that we can bring together to this road. We are going to be able to do this. So thank you, everyone. Please have a wonderful day. If I can just request for a beautiful vote before we all step up. Thank you. Very quick stand here. And then we'll take a quick picture with, yeah, that's okay. That's here. Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Come on. 1, 2, 3. That's 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much. Thank you.